Well, let's get started, everybody. I'm thrilled to have this meeting, this Future Beauty Talk today with Gay Wardle. I'm Frank Sellam, by the way. If you haven't met Gay Wardle before, let me give you a little brief introduction. She's at the head of a beauty salon. She owns a beauty salon, so she's like you, a beauty therapist. She has staff. She has all the same issues that we all know and suffered through in COVID. She is also an educator. She has done many presentations in the past with us. We've talked about the skin barrier, about pigmentation, about the skin biology, and it's been really fascinating to listen to her and to dive deeply into the whole aspect of the skin and the inner health. She is an internationally renowned speaker, and I believe, Gay, that just a few minutes ago you were online doing another presentation with APAN. I think that, she's a wife, she's a mother, a grandmother, a friend. I don't know how she organizes her life. That's another talk, actually. How do you organize it? How do you get all the energy? What's your secret recipe? I think, from my knowledge of Gay, that she nourishes herself in the love of helping others. And that just gives her, a ton of energy. I'm a bit like that too. I love, helping others, and that just gives me a ton of energy. And that's probably one of Gay's secrets. Now, she's also the founding member, or she took part in creating ABIC, which is the topic we're going to talk about in a minute. She's a founding member, and so another part of her responsibilities is in helping the beauty industry, and so. As Sydney and the Central Coast and Wollongong and the Blue Mountains have gone into lockdown, I think this is a topic that's really relevant today. So it'll be really great to hear how ABIC, which stands for the Aesthetic and Beauty Industry Council, how ABIC can help you, the beauty therapist, the beauty salon owner, what's in it for you, and so forth. So I might start by asking Gay, first of all, welcome, Gay. It's great to have you. Thank you so much for giving your time, which is very valuable, and we really appreciate it. So Gay, can you tell me why you felt that we needed ABIC in our industry?
Can I just say thank you to you? I think, when you say the things that you say about me, I think those same thoughts back about you. I think you're an incredible leader and a mentor, and the industry is so very, very lucky to have you. So, and I'm really grateful that I can actually call you my friend as well. So, but thank you for always, bringing me on and having me on these chat sessions, because I really enjoy it, and I think it's really important that we can actually connect and communicate, this way. For ABIC, when we went into the COVID lockdowns last March, there was a couple of us there was Tamara Reid and myself and Carla McDermott, that we actually had a phone call. The three of us had a phone call together, and we were so devastated at what was going on around the industry. And I thought, there's really, we've got APAN, which is a networking association, which does an amazing job, but there was really not a body that actually was there for the voice of all beauty therapists. When you look at, there's a couple of associations at APAN and the Dermal Clinician Society, which do an amazing job, that they cater for a different demographic. So they cater for a lot of the medical sector and things like that. And the call out for people that are, the conversations that I was having at that time of how people were feeling devastated, and even early in the piece, there was already signs of, anxiety. And I thought, what can we do? So the three of us had this conversation, and through the impact of the 2020 global pandemic, we thought we have to do something. We've got to have a stronger voice to government. And it was very clear that the government wasn't, they didn't know about us. They were calling us silly names like beauty parlors and, beauticians and, all that stuff that I'm sure made all of us made our hair stand on edge in the back of our neck. It was like, holy moly, they didn't even know that we were, an industry body that was highly educated and that we really understood hygiene standards, and we practice those hygiene standards every day. So it was kind of devastating that we weren't recognised. So we then had another phone call with Faye Murray, who's a business coach in the industry, and through there we had connections to Sandy Chong, who is very much for the Hair Association, who connected us to, I guess, government people that we could then start to talk to these people. So we then thought, we have to make this happen so that when we do go into lockdowns, it's clear that these are going to keep happening for a while now, even if it's short term or long term, that they're going to keep happening, that we need to have something that's going to be sustainable, that we can talk to government about what we are and get recognised, not be called beauty parlours or beauticians, and be recognised. It was really unfair that the way our industry was treated, when you look at what happened with other industries, our sister company, the hair people, it was really unfair that most of them were allowed to go on and do things that we did, and that was lash tints and waxing, and they were doing all of those things because they had a hairdressing salon. Yet that was our livelihood. We were locked out from that. Yeah. So I guess that was our initiation for actually creating ABIC, so that we did have that very strong voice, so that we then could have connection and people would start to listen to us. And it was very clear that you have to have a number game to be able to do that. You've got to have big names, players in the industry, and that was, we were very fortunate that when we got foundation members and your company being one of them, Frank, that came on board, that actually united us. And that was, I think, the amazing thing. We were talking to people and we're talking to skincare houses and companies, that all of a sudden the competition went out the door between them. It's not that there's no competition there, but they're all there for the betterment of the industry, and they all want to see changes. And that force kind of was a real help to get us united. And then we formed the board, and we've been able to form working groups off that, so that we are able to now get, if we need to talk to someone, they will listen to us now. Yeah. So just in recently with the Melbourne lockdown, we raised a whole host of money to actually help because they were really in dire straits down there. No one was getting paid for that time, and there was no income, and there were some people that were really suffering. So we really got together and raised some money for that. And each board member kind of did their own unique thing. Like I donated courses and other people were doing things. So it was a collective environment that we could actually see that we could help people. And now with Sydney, like we're able to jump on it. We've created all these documents that members can go on and download. So, I think that was the initial process behind starting ABIC. And I guess we've been, very fortunate. There's no one person that stands out here. We're all doing it together. There's no one that's doing more than anyone else. And I think it's amazing that we've got all these people that are so supportive of an industry that we all obviously love and want to see survive.
Yeah. And those documents that the members are able to access, gives them information about what they need to do with the staff, what can they do, how they need to, what restrictions they need to put in place, when and how they can open and prepare all these things which are really important.
Yeah, absolutely. So with some of the documents that we've got for the lockdowns, we've created official government restriction documents so you can download those PDFs, staff stand down instructions, letter stand down documents of employment due to COVID, letters for available hours for casuals due to COVID, confirming rosters. And there's so many documents that we've actually created that our members can go on and download, and they're kind of not left in the dark. They kind of know exactly, and all of this is from the government department. So there's everything there that we've actually supported back to what the government is expecting and asking of us. So we've straight away jumped on and got all of those documents there. We have a full HR team that's available, and we've got the phones that are being manned. There's a phone number that you can call and you can talk to anyone anytime during the day. So we've got that facility available, and sometimes you find with other associations they're busy and you have to leave a message, but we've made it available that we have 2 people answering the phones all day. So if there's any questions that they can get answered straight away.
Right. So if I'm a salon owner and I have some issues with staff, or I want to hire, or I want to fire, or all the contracts, all these things, I can get that from ABIC.
Absolutely. Now, to employ someone in HR, it's just not feasible for a clinic owner to do that. So with our clinic membership, so we've got 3 tiers of memberships.
Right.
So with our clinic membership, which you break it down to what it's going to cost a week, and it's $19 a week. So for $19 a week, you have a full HR facility available. So you get employment contracts, and like if you think you've got an employment contract that you've written maybe 5-6 years ago, it needs to be updated, and they need to be updated annually. Yes. So these contracts are updated constantly. They're not the same old contract that we had 2 years ago. We're making sure of that. Compliance. Support for staff, for mental health. We're working on that. Cultural, HR to help with cultural issues within a clinic, making sure that they have the right advice that they can take back, and they can actually, the owners themselves have that advice on how they need to deal with situations. And more importantly, to help our staff develop as well. Like all of these, we've got compliance for superannuation. There's so many of these forms that if you just go on the website, you can see them, that they're there. And once you become a member, you have full access. And not only that, you have a full access to HR anytime during the day that you can call. We have that service online.
But what about if you're a beauty salon owner and you're getting a new lease for your salon? Can ABIC help you in looking at the lease? Is it the right thing? Or
Absolutely. Again, we've got solicitor. Right. Solicitor on the board, and the solicitors, even through this COVID, it was amazing yesterday, Sunday, on a Sunday, we have this channel that we can talk to each other, especially, what was happening over the weekend. So we were constantly, all of the board members were constantly talking to each other, a message, and our solicitor was on that call constantly and giving us advice and going, no, we need to do this, we need to do that. Yeah. So we've got that solicitor there too. Yeah. And we have full access to that if you're a clinic member. So the clinic member, when you look at the price, you think that's just under $1,000, and it sounds an awful lot of money. But if we break it down, like for you to have, if you went to see a solicitor, it would cost you $150 an hour just for that part. Yeah. If not more.
Yeah, much more.
Yeah, and if you had to have HR services, it's going to cost you a lot of that. So you're getting all of that in a weekly amount of $19 a week.
So things like could ABIC help me if I'm leasing equipment and I want them to? I'm not sure about the contract. Could I ask your advice on the contract I'm being given, or even by the distributor, for example?
Absolutely. So that's where you would call we've got those facilitators that answer the phone, and they would direct you. They would, if they would get the information back, or they would give you the call number for the solicitor. Right. So absolutely.
Okay. So
that's there all the time. So leasing is a big
very
thing.
Valuable,
yeah.
That in itself. What about the education? Is there some support? Like, what are the trends? Like, I believe there's also a new plasma pen coming out. Are these things that I can find out? Do beauty therapists or beauty salons share some of their secrets? Is there that sort of...
Absolutely. So what we're doing right at the moment is building our education calendar. But we had a meeting about this last week, and what we want to do for that is not just have education things about skin, they'll be there as well, but what we want is have guest speakers on to teach people, help them with I guess building confidence, being able to talk to to people that they never felt comfortable about talking to. We'll have people come in and give them education on specific types of equipment. We try not to be branded in that way, but it'd be information there so that people can make a choice that is the right choice that they would make. So our educational calendar is going to be full of things that are very different, that you would go to and really find out. Public speaking, how do you conduct meetings with your team? How do you build confidence for things like that? So a lot of people don't really understand how to actually conduct a team meeting that's constructive and create an agenda. So we're going to have educational events around that. We will have events as well. We've got an amazing foundation supplier membership, and yes, they will contribute as well. And our foundation suppliers, I must say, they will bring suggestions to the board if they see that there's something that needs to be done. So if our members are with one of those foundation members and they want something done, if they told their foundation member, yourself, like that, you can then bring that to the board and go, I'd like to see this, I'd like to see that. So we want these suggestions so that we don't just want a group of people that are barging our way through. This is a collaboration, and this is why it's going to work so well. Right. So we really need to know what people want, and we're going to do everything that we possibly can to make that happen.
Absolutely, that sounds fantastic. What about things like, I know that beauty therapists, they struggle, some of them, with the whole social media aspect. What do I do? Is there any sort of support or education on that?
I struggle with the social media stuff too. Let me tell you. Yes, we definitely have. So, we're going to have a marketing. There's questions that you can ask. There's marketing templates that you can download, that will help you with the social media. So we're going to have a full marketing campaign that will help people be able to understand when to do those things. What are the right types of posts to do? Because you look at some of the social media, and we have to be really realistic. It is the way that people are finding us these days. So we've got to make sure that when we do social media postings, that it actually is professionally done, and what people will follow, what people are looking for. So we've got professional people that will actually, and we'll have events around that as well, educational events around that, on what sort of posts are going to work for you, when should you do it, and learning how to be analytic with your posts that you do as well. And I think that's the important thing, is we can put a post up there, but how do we know how well it's doing? So we're going to learn how to do those things, and what's going to work and what's not going to work. And, because I think you would agree with this, Frank, I think women in business, and men in business as well, that are in business in this industry, we're very strong people in our nature. We're very strong, but also people tend to take advantage of us. And I think we get busy with our time. So sometimes it's easy to go, okay, you do that for me and I'll pay you all this money a month. And, it never really works. You have people that come on and do social media, but they don't know anything about our industry. So we want to make sure we have industry experts in there that can actually help with that.
Yes. Yes.
I know over the time I've spent so much money on, on paying people to do social media, and they're asking me for the content. They're asking me for this. I'm going, well, why am I paying you? Just to find a picture and put it up there? So I think it's really important that we actually do have some guidance in that way.
Yeah. So there, if I understand correctly, there's a subscription if you're a beauty therapist, and there's a subscription if you're a salon owner. Well, what are the and there's a big price difference as well.
There is a big price difference.
So for a beauty therapist, I think it's $99. Am I right?
So with the prescriptions, we've got 3 tiers.
Okay. Sure.
So we've got the professional memberships, which are they're $99 or $98. The difference between them is what they're entitled to within the membership. So the professional industry professional membership, they won't have access to a full-time HR service. They won't have access to the solicitors. So you've got to understand that this is a very expensive area that ABIC is paying. So we have to make sure that we have a membership tier that can, that equals what we pay for those services. So they will get access to the resources, and there are literally hundreds of resources. And by the end of the first year, so we've only just launched. So by this time next year, we will have at least 500 resources. There's already 200 plus resources there. And those resources are templates, how to run a front desk, how to interview people. So there's all of those resources that they have available. Then the clinic membership, which is the more expensive one, they have everything available to them. So all of the HR, all of the solicitors, everything that's available on the website, whereas the industry professional ones will get the blogs, they'll get all of that kind of stuff. And then we also have a student membership, again, that's restricted with what they can get.
Right. Well, that's. Are you going to be at the trade show? Do you know?
Yeah, we are. So we've got a stand at the trade show. So
great. So people can come.
I'll be there myself. I'll be there myself on Saturday at the stand. I'm speaking at the trade show on Sunday. Right. So
on behalf of ABIC.
No. I'm doing my own thing on Sunday. But on Saturday I'll be on the ABIC stand. So we've got rosters. So all the people that are on the board have got certain time frames that they've got to do over the 3 days, because we've got Friday to set up. So
on Saturday we can come and meet you personally.
Yeah, I'll be there on Saturday, and I would love to have a chat. I'm going to be there for in the morning AM, and then I'll probably have a little break to go off and do some education myself, because I've got to keep learning, and I'll go on again in the afternoon.
It's a never-ending journey, isn't it?
Oh, look, it never is. And like when at the trade shows, I'm always so, with meetings and things like that, like yourself, Frank, you just don't get time to go to these amazing classes and listen to these speakers. So I think I've got to have 2 hours so I can do that this time.
Oh, that's lovely. Well, thank you. I think I've got much more clarity on how ABIC can support me. Certainly, if I'm a salon owner, it's great to know that I've got a whole team of experts in HR and lawyers for all the contracts, and these things can cost you a whole lot of money if you don't get it right. So that's really important. And as you say, it's a $19 a week fee. It turns out to be. So that's definitely worthwhile. And if you're a beauty therapist and you want to have a supporting board that's there to bring you education, all the latest updates on the trends and so forth. It's 90, I think it was $90 something. So that's nothing really. And for students, there's also a special fee for them. That's also great. So thank you for making it much clearer. I'm going to ask anyone, if there's anyone who has a question to ask you, please go ahead, unmute yourself or put your hand up if you know how to do that, and we will unmute you. Is there anybody there who would like, from Danielle, is there a payment plan option, Danielle would like to know?
Yes, there is, Danielle. So you can, with the clinic one, which is just under that $1,000, there is a monthly payment plan that you can do that. So you don't have to pay the whole amount up front. And, it's surprising how many clinics we actually have got on board. And what I think is that the clinics that are coming on board, we hope that we can actually be able to create a support thing where we have these coffee dates, things like that, so we can actually have these groups where people can come and chat that have become part of that membership. And we've been talking about that as well.
So I know that for beauty therapists, they love the community. Whenever we hold a little gathering, either to launch a product or it's such a wonderful thing to organize, and all the therapists are there and they love seeing each other and talking about what they're passionate about. So to have a community would be fantastic.
I think sharing is really, that's how we learn, isn't it? By sharing information. It's like
too. We hear what they're doing and we get, I can do that.
Well, what I think happened but I can see one of the beautiful things, if I can find, I think there's a lot of positive things that have come out of COVID and what we've been through. But I think one of the really positive things that I've seen is that we really have become a community in our industry now. We really have come together. And I think it's not like, I've got a clinic that I can just walk to in 5 minutes. And, we get together and we chat about things. And there's no competition because we have different businesses. And I think, everyone's realised that now. Is, for a long, long time, it was very, I can't talk to you, you're just up the road, sort of thing. And I think when we build that community and we have these, obviously, the coffee dates, some might be able to be together, but a lot of the times it'll be virtual and things like that, so that we can actually get everyone from all over the country that so that we can get to know people. And it's lovely. Like, I think when we walk around the trade show this year, I think there's going to be more communication, more people that know each other, because we've had that community involvement, because we've been locked down and we only had each other. Really.
Of course. Sophia, who is grateful for your participation and thanks you, she'd like to know if you have any idea of how many members are already a part of this community of ABIC.
Sure. So I can't tell you how many of the professional memberships are, because that has just went the first week that we opened. I think we had something like 400 that signed up. I know with the clinic memberships, the $1,000 one, I think we're up to about 80 memberships of that.
Okay, that's great. So what would be your goal to get to 1,000? What would be
I don't know if there's a goal there. I think it's just it's not trying to get people to join up. I guess it's trying to create this environment where we've got people that can connect. So to me, it's like join up and connect, become part of an industry body that is there for you guys. And if you want some help, go, hey guys, can you do this? You're not doing that. We want to see this. And, make sure that you make us accountable for what you want. And I think accountability is really important. When we talk about the numbers and how many people have signed up, people start to calculate the money. And, it's not a dollars thing. It's like, hang on, because we're not for profit. We're not for profit. So all the money goes back, to to the association, and that's employing the solicitors, the HR people, all that kind of stuff. It all goes, these people are not cheap. So it all goes back to them. So it's just, I guess, that connection to me is really important. The more clinics we have involved, the more connected we'll become as an industry. And it's a numbers game when you go to the governments, because I've been working really hard on trying to get apprenticeships through in Queensland. We haven't had that, and hopefully we'll get it around Australia. And and I started this last year myself, so it's been a real understanding. The more people you have involved, that the government will listen to you. Yes. So the more people we have in an association, they're going to stand up and they're going to listen. And that's why HAIR did so well, because they have such a large membership number. Yes. And it was a huge, strong voice.
Yes,
and that's what we needed.
Definitely.
And need.
For the government to understand the trade of being a beauty therapist, and when they put restrictions, if they don't really understand, they put these outrageous restrictions which don't. I could never understand during the 2020 restrictions that hair salons were able to cut hair, but beauty therapists weren't able to.
Absolutely. And not only that, Frank, they were doing brow waxes and tinting and and I know that there was leg waxing and stuff like that. They were doing all that stuff because they do it. They offer it. Some of them offer it in their clinics. So they just got busy with that. Got busy with it. And here we are, scratching our heads as to why. Why can't we do what we're trained and educated in doing?
Yes, yeah.
Instead of getting a wonky eyebrow from a hairdresser, we can give them a beautiful eyebrow.
Exactly. I've got a question asking, what about, it sometimes can be very challenging to find staff for your salon. So you were talking about how ABIC can help you, to have a good contract for hiring. Can ABIC also help you in finding someone in your area or around where your salon is based? And would they be able to either recommend or advertise or?
I guess what we will have a part of what we can offer people looking for employment. Mm-hmm. So if there's somebody that say is in Mossman in Sydney that's looking for a therapist, then obviously you've got it has to be the right fit for the clinic.
Sure.
But we might be able to have a directory of people that we could send, because people spend a lot of money on advertising for staff, an awful lot of money. I think one of the things that we already have in place is that interview process as well. Mm-hmm. And we know that, like I employ people as well, and you make an appointment, they don't turn up, or they turn up with thongs on and ripped jeans, I think, hello. So what we're trying to do with our student memberships is get them ready on how they should present to go out, to apply for a job.
Right.
So that's part of their student membership. They've got resources there on how to write an application, how to, when they get there, how to conduct themselves for the questions that might be answered and things like that, asked and things like that.
Yeah, it's always
that part of it's prepping them ready for employment.
Right. And if you are the salon owner who's hiring, it's great to know what kind of questions would give me an insight, a little bit of an insight. I mean, everybody obviously should behave or behaves really well at an interview. You'd hope so, but then there are some questions that kind of give you an insight in their personality.
Absolutely. I think too, like that, you can kind of hopefully find the right fit for that person. But I think also too, initially getting that initial, whatever it might contract for, whatever it might be, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, or whatever it is, I think making sure that that's in place so that both the employer and the potential employee are covered.
Yes.
It's really important.
Definitely. Where is ABIC based? I'm asked.
We are all over the place. So our CEO is in Melbourne.
Yes.
So on our board, we're virtual. So on our board, there's two people that are in Queensland. That's myself and Tamara.
Right.
There are most of the people are in Sydney.
Yes.
And I think we've got two people, maybe three, that are in Melbourne. One's in Geelong and one's in Melbourne.
Right.
No, we've got, sorry, pardon me, we've got three people, two people in Melbourne, one Geelong, two in Queensland, and the rest are in Sydney or around there.
Okay. So there's no headquarters as such?
No, not as well. We do have, because where our facilitators are, they are in Melbourne.
They're in Melbourne, okay.
So they're in Melbourne. So the phones, there's two that they actually go to a workplace.
Right.
So I'm sorry I didn't answer that properly.
No, okay.
They actually go to a workplace. That's where the phones are. So that's in Melbourne.
That's in Melbourne. So anyway, if I do need to contact ABIC, I just do it online or on the phone.
There's a phone number.
Yes. So the phone number to call, it's 1-800 and then 692-242. So it's 1-800 my ABIC 692-242. And also you can just email info@theabic.org.au. So info.
Absolutely. And there's two facilitators there every single day that will answer your calls.
Right.
And like I said, over the board members, we've got this chat thing, and that goes all weekend into the night, sometimes still at 10 o'clock at night. We're getting these messages. What are we going to do here? What are we going to do there? Right. So we're kind of continually working outside our normal work hours to make sure this happens as well.
ABIC and make it even more helpful to the beauty therapist. I looked at the website, theabic.org.au, so DTHE, ABIC, ABIC, .org.au, and that's very comprehensive. I think that a lot of people can find out about all the resources, about all the things that comes with the membership. So if you want to get more, I think that the link has been put on the chat box there. So just click on that link and you'll find out a little bit more about ABIC. I think that we've covered everything. Thank you so much.
So Frank, I just want to say, if anyone's got any questions and they didn't want to ask, I'm quite happy if you want to, contact me either by phone or email. I'm quite happy to answer anybody's questions. To me, this is such an important thing. What number
should they call you if they want to talk to you directly? I'll put it on.
I'm actually happy to take people's calls. If they want to talk to me. I obviously can't answer their HR questions or all that kind of stuff, but if there's any other questions that they have, I'm quite happy for them to call me.
Yes. So, what number should they call?
0418
0418,
70 84 55.
I'm just going to put that up there so everybody can see. That's your personal number that they can get you on hand. If you're very busy and you may not be able to answer every call, but you always get back to them. So that's
absolutely. And if it goes to message bank, I'll always call you back. My phone's turned off at the moment because I'm talking to you. But I will always call back, and and I will answer my phone on weekends as well.
Well, thank you so much. It's been great to discuss the wonderful support that ABIC brings to the community of our trade, the beautiful beauty therapist. Thank you, and I wish everybody all the best. Please look after yourself, keep well, be strong, and keep your spirits up, and everything will be fine.
You're amazing, Frank. Thank you. And thank you for being one of our amazing foundation members. And, if there's anyone that for whatever reasons, they don't want to become a member, but they want to see something happen, you know, that you can always be their voice to the board, always.
For sure, for sure. Thank you. Thank you, and take care.
Love you loads. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.